Hello and welcome to
Hello and welcome to
the
the
Splain.
the Splain.
Every time, I think it gets
Like
worse. And
I think,
subscribe.
oh wow, we even screwed that part up. You just completed my sentence. Isn't
You
that
know what?
sweet?
You complete me. You complete me.
Oh, can you do the thing from Jerry Maguire with the?
Oh,
Yeah,
that
thanks.
this? What?
No, we don't gotta get into that.
Okay. Um,
Welcome, like and subscribe if you like whatever it is Joe and I do. And we are happy to have our guest, Samson Koletkar.
Hello.
Did I get it? I got it right. Koletkar.
Yeah.
It's actually we just went over uh, how to pronounce your name, and it's actually exactly as it's spelled.
Yeah.
As I look
Colette
at it,
Kerr.
Yeah.
Colette Kerr.
Yeah.
Koletkar.
Okay.
Here's
Okay,
the
so you're
here's the small thing that I've started to work into my material is if you have a name that others can't pronounce, don't get offended, get famous.
Oh, well
Mhm.
put. Well put. And
Now
I'm,
everyone will
yeah.
know it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm saying this as a Klosik, which has been mispronounced a million times. So that's why I think it is, you want to know how to say someone's name.
Continues to be
Yeah.
mispronounced.
It continues to be
While
mispronounced.
everyone knows Zach Galifianakis rolls off the tongue.
You don't have to rub it in, Dan. You don't have to rub it
Yeah.
in.
I'm not rubbing
Yeah.
it in. That's something to work toward, my friend.
Yeah.
The problem is the
Anyway,
language English, right? You don't write what you say and you don't say what you write. So the language is the problem. It's probably the only language where you can never be sure how something is pronounced when it's written down because the rules are so loosey-goosey.
That's only us.
As far as I know,
Other things are phonetical.
more often than not, as far
it's,
as I know.
I don't even think phonetical's a
Hmm.
word.
Okay, well, there you go. Phonetic.
I
Anyway,
mean, come
okay.
on. The Germans have some crazy spellings. I mean, Schadenfreude, is that pronounced like it's spelled?
But you're looking at the English writing for it, right? If you write it in German,
Oh. Yeah, but
Hmm.
isn't the English pronunciation really the correct one for everything?
The right
I
one.
mean,
Yeah.
it's
Can we get
2026, Samson.
get
Come on.
real,
Let's get
Samson?
real, all right?
yes.
Isn't that why the Canadian trade negotiations just broke down because they wanted them to drop the
Huh?
French? Did, that's
Yeah,
true.
because they
That's
can't
true,
talk.
actually. Yeah, because they can't talk. Look, if you're going to be speaking this other language, I thought you
Fucking
spoke
talk.
Canadian.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I've known Samson. Samson, how long have we known each other? It's more than 20 years, right? At least, a
Close.
minimum.
20 years sounds right. That's
Sounds about
been
right.
pretty much as long as I've been doing stand-up, and I've known you from the time I started. I
Can
have known
you?
you longer than you have known me, but I'm glad you know me long enough.
That's a curious statement, but all right, all right. Can you give us a
Do you know
brief?
me? The
I
important thing. Let's get to the important. Do you know me,
I know
Samson?
the guy on your t-shirt, but I'm glad to meet you, Dan.
Okay. Nice to meet you too. Have I been gone for 20 years?
Buddy, it's been, yeah. I think you were already down in L.A. when Samson was starting, and
Oh,
then yeah. I mean, I
wow.
mean that's how old we are. That's how old we are,
Wow.
right?
That is,
I mean,
we all are. Okay.
I was working with a 26-year-old comedian this weekend, and she literally said, "What was it like doing comedy in the late 1900s?" And that's an accurate
1900s?
the late 1900s. That's because 1998 is the late
Wow.
1900s. Yeah, and
He
that's a true
phrased it that
statement.
way,
The
the late
late
1900s.
1900s. I'm
So
like,
it's
you don't have to
instead of the
say it like
90s.
that. Yeah,
The
it's
late, so it's
she
a,
what she
was she
wasn't.
being sarcastic?
No, she wasn't even being sarcastic, which is just like even
Oh,
worse. You're like, yeah,
that's like a history class, the late
yeah,
1900s.
yeah. Well, sit down and let me tell you about comedy. We used to have to shout, no
Mm.
microphones. That was hard.
Hmm.
Anyway, Samson, can you give us just a brief thumbnail sketch of what got you interested in stand up, where you started, and where are you today?
So what got me going was just the inclination to say funny things. I've always had this thing about saying the inappropriate and funny things, trying to make people laugh. But having grown up in India, when I was growing up in the late 1900s,
Hmm.
we
Hmm.
didn't have stand up as an art form as it does in America. A lot of the comedy that people did was impressions and mimicry. And I don't do any voices, I just have my own. So when I came to America, I watched a few shows live. That's when it kind of hit me that, hey, this is cool. I can go up on stage and say whatever I want, however I want it, without trying to pretend to sound somebody else, like somebody else. And then I actually started with the San Francisco Comedy College because I didn't know where to get started, how to start.
Mm.
I had no idea. One of my friends found the San Francisco Comedy College, and then I joined it, and I did 2 months sessions there, and kind of figured out like you got to be in the circuit and get on stage, and that's the best way to get better. And that was my start 20 years ago.
Wow. And
Yeah.
you're doing some pretty impressive things. I mean, I see you online on the socials. You just did a big comedy festival. Can you tell us about that?
Yes, so I'll go slightly back into how we got there because after doing every potential mic that I got an opportunity, I also quickly realized I wouldn't do well in bars because I'm not a loud comic. I'm not screaming for attention. I'm like, I'm going to say things, and if you're interested in listening, I would love to talk, but if not, then I'm not going to force you. So, 3 years into my comedy, I somebody suggested, look, you can sit and complain about all the terrible shows that are run, or go start your own. And I'm like, okay, let me try starting my
Mm.
own. So I actually started a weekly show in Oakland, which is a reversal of what most people did. I lived in the city and I went outside the city to run a show while everybody
Mm.
else was going the other way around. And that started in 2009. So it's been 17
Wow.
years of running the weekly show in Oakland. And the first thing I did when I started doing
Wow.
the Oakland shows was going to open mics. I cut out open mics from my weekly run, and now we do 5 shows a week. And it's a small space, right? Like you've done this in the past, Joe. Now we are in like 50 to 70 seaters, and 5 shows a week, one on Thursday, two Fridays, and two on Saturdays. So that helps me keep my material uh, uh,
That's amazing.
editing.
That's a
Yeah,
show you started. You basically started a comedy club.
it's almost like a pop-up comedy club, yes. So I don't own the venue, I just partner with venues, but we run shows there
Hmm.
regularly, bring people in. And the
And how's the crowds? Do you get people paying pretty
yeah,
regularly
so the
come
number
in?
one thing when I started the show was I didn't want to run a free show. And so we always had some tickets associated. Back when I started, the tickets were $10, and now we are at 25. Uh, it's the post-pandemic cost. uh, so that's what we've been doing. 17 years I've been running that, and then along the way, I launched my first tour called the Mahatma Moses Comedy Tour. That was me actually headlining and doing longer sets. That we
Hmm.
managed to go 17 cities across the country.
Wow.
And then the next step that happened was the South Asian Comedy Festival called the Desi Comedy Fest. That started in 2014. And actually, the genesis to that was in 2013. I ran an experimental show. And the genesis to that, I keep going backwards. It's like a lesson in history. You know the attacks that happened in Mumbai,
Yeah.
26/11
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Mumbai? There was a lot of stuff that happened there, and I was watching some of my own friends react in ways and doing things online because by then the world was online, which I sat here and felt helpless. I'm like, hey, what's all these crazy things going on there? Is there anything I can do to impact it? And the only thing I could think of was bring some Indians and Pakistanis together and do a comedy show. See if we
Mm.
can put Indians and Pakistanis in the same room and make them laugh together.
Mm.
So 2013, we did a show where we had 3 Indians and 2 Pakistani comics, and we did 2 shows, and they were semi-successful. And that was the idea that I was like, hey, why don't we convert this into like a bigger festival? And then we launched the Desi Comedy Fest in 2014, and that's been 12 years. And I'm right now in the middle of the 12th year run. So we've finished 5 shows, and tonight is the last show in Sacramento at
Nice.
the Punchline
Mm.
Comedy Club.
So you're an entrepreneur beyond
Yeah,
comedian. I
I
mean,
became a producer
so
plus promoter to help my performer side of things, but then of course the balance tilted a little bit. So there is a lot of time and effort it takes to produce and promote as well.
as I'm listening, Samson, to these projects you've developed and looked come to fruition over 15, 20 years, I think to myself, that's the kind of thing Joe and I always tried to do
Mm,
and failed.
mm.
So what did we do wrong? Why? What's
Well, I'll
wrong
tell
with
you what
me?
we did wrong. I'll tell you what we did wrong. I mean, look,
What?
to be honest, some of it was just we've talked about this a lot, right? Like the era that we were coming up in. It was not conducive. It was not, they weren't pushing us to self promote and self produce. There was this idea that there was a club system that you had to get in front of a producer, a manager, right? And I think we probably were that last generation of comics because then
Hmm.
the internet really started to open things up. Not saying that we
Hmm.
didn't fail because we tried the
Yeah, I
one
mean,
person
I
show. We
think,
tried, but I think
yeah,
and I would love to hear Samson's story. Like I understand that the way to promote anything now is social media, but there's no single silver bullet, right? Like everybody that I've talked to that has done it, they can't tell you like, oh, it's Facebook ads or oh, you've got to hack the algorithm to do this.
right.
So everybody is doing a little bit of something and then you find something. But I am curious, like Samson, what do you think has really worked for you on the producer end?
Yeah,
And also, why did Dan and I fail?
yeah.
It's hard to say why, and I don't know how you define failure as well, right? Because no, I'm being honest about this because I've had so many cancellations
Hmm.
of shows for lack of ticket sales.
Hmm.
I've failed
Uh-huh.
plenty number of
Right.
times as well, right? So
But
I
you
think that
persevered through it.
yeah, I think that the number one thing is just pushing through and persevering and consistency, right? You just got to keep showing up, and whether people show up or they don't, you keep showing up, and then hopefully it picks up. So, if you ask me, have I succeeded? I think I have failed because I haven't become bigger than where I am, right? So we are
Hmm.
always comparing ourselves to where we could have been, but where we are not. I would love to be back to the days, and you've seen this, Joe, because you've done some of the shows along the years. I've had bigger rooms, packed rooms, and now we are struggling. Pre-pandemic, we used to do
Mm.
13,000 people a year. Now we are doing like 6, 7,000 people a year. That's like
Wow.
half the number of people we're doing. So the idea of success failure is a little relative, but I understand what you're asking for. I will tell you this: there is no single, like you said, there's no silver bullet. There's no single method that works, and we all had to discover some of it. So one of the things that I did when I started was rely on the net, and I come from a tech background, so it was a very natural lean for me where
Hmm.
I was setting up my own ticketing, which I'm sure didn't exist before when you were coming up in the 80s, 90s. There was no Eventbrite or equivalent happening. All of those things
Not yeah,
launched in
not yet.
2000,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So then I had the flexibility of not being slave to Ticketmaster, but starting my own ticketing. I
Hmm.
could run some advertising online on Google, make sure that people can search and find us because everybody was searching things on Google. So those were some of the things that happened when I was coming up, and so I kind of took that path. And now I'm in the same boat because this whole TikTok and Instagram Reels revolution, people are on that train, but I am not, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
catch up there. But it's like I don't know if I have
Hmm.
the enthusiasm to do it. So
Yeah.
a lot of the
Wow.
times we know what needs to be done, but knowing and doing are two completely different things. So
Oh,
Mm.
that is
preach,
where the
brother.
Mm. Yeah.
so that's
Yeah.
where the failure valley lies, right? Like if you go from knowing to doing, you can get over that hump. But we kind of know what
Hmm.
needs to be done, but we don't actually go and do it. And then
Yeah.
it's like, oh man, I wish I
Well,
had
that
done
I
it.
mean,
So
I think a lot of it is generational.
yes.
I just started selling merch after
Mm-hmm.
shows, right? Which I kind of kick myself now because I'm making so far. I've only done it like smaller shows out of curiosity, but I'm making an extra $100. And the other thing that I find that's fascinating is everybody under 40 is generally using Venmo to pay me, right? And then everyone over 40, it's all cash.
Yes.
And I think there's still, there's still this interesting reluctance to use tech for the older audience. And I realize, like, well, I'm also the older guy too now. And what you said about the reluctance to use TikTok and then to catch up, like knowing this is how people are discovering comedians. This is how people are building these massive audiences and then leveraging it into ticket sales. And I know that, but I'm like, oh crap. I don't. Do you feel like? Let me ask you this: as someone that is very tech savvy and is producing, do you feel that you can actually hack the algorithm? I mean, I hear so much conversation about this. Is there no? Okay.
As far as I know, uh, some people know how to market better. So it's like an audience trying to tell a joke. I mean, they know how to tell a joke. They're trying to tell the joke, but somehow their joke is not as refined as the comedian on stage. And it's the same thing with the net and social media.
Mm-hmm.
Some people just have the knack for it, so they know how to
Right.
integrate, provocate, and get that hook in, and they just keep doing it. And they can tell you how it's to be done, but that doesn't mean that you actually get it. So I'll go back to one more thing, right? You asked me this earlier. When I started producing shows, one of the things I should look at was what are the clubs doing? What is Punchline doing? What is Roosters doing? What is Tommy T's doing? And try to follow that at a smaller budget. So as to advertise on similar channels as they do, wherever it was feasible for me to. And also the payments thing that you just mentioned, I was like, okay, can I do online payment? So we started accepting back in the days PayPal and Google Pay, and then eventually Venmo came along, and then Square was the first thing that I jumped on. I was one of the very early adopters because I could take credit cards on the fly. So I was open to trying out those new technologies, right? Whereas today, TikTok, I still haven't tried it because I don't know, it's my own lethargy that's kicked in.
Mm.
So at one point, I was trying to get people to come and run the shows with me, right? And then whoever volunteered too, I would give them the breakdown of here's everything you need to do for your show. This is the places you post at. These are the things you set up. These are the reminders you set up, and da 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 da. And I just walk them through the whole thing. And a lot of people have also asked me this question, like, how do you run shows? And I'm like, here's the whole playbook. And some comics were, aren't you afraid of giving the playbook away? And like, same thing,
Mm-hmm.
just knowing what needs to be done doesn't mean that they're actually going to do it.
Yeah,
I've seen
for
a lot of
sure.
yes,
For
and a lot of
sure.
people have actually gotten overwhelmed. They're like, oh, I didn't realize there was so much happening behind the scenes. I
Yeah.
don't want to do it. I've had people back out of running shows with me because there was too much work,
Yeah. I
which is
mean,
which is also the common bit that
Yeah.
I've seen in the Bay Area scene, where it's like, if the clubs are getting you to perform for free, nobody's complaining because they have expenses and staff. But if a independent producer is getting you to do a show, then where is the money? And it's like, dude, somebody's still spending all the money and time. I don't have a staff of 20 people, but you don't see the people behind the scenes who are working. I am working.
yeah.
And so they just assume that you put up a show and people are going to show up. And it never is that, right? You have to actually put the effort in. So,
I think one of the big things, and Dan, tell me if I'm wrong about this, because you remember we attempted to do spirituality for dummies, right? We did
Mm-hmm.
two solo shows on on one night, and it was we were mixing stand up with solo performance, and
Yeah.
we were trying to stretch ourselves, but I felt like at a certain point that the smallest part of what I had to do that night was perform. Like there
Mm-hmm.
was, we were worried about selling, we were worried about the lights, we were worried about people coming in, we were worried about so many other things. And then it was like, oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah, shit, I got to go up and perform. And it felt, it felt a little demoralizing to just realize like, oh man, that excitement to perform is not there because I'm just exhausted with all the anxiety of all the other
Mm-hmm.
little parts that have to go right. And I think that really, like, I came away from that experience going like, oh yeah, I don't like the producing end because it just diminished the performing end. So I think that talent to be able to do both, that's a rare talent. I mean, I see other comics that have succeeded.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a guy by the name of Vahe who does
yeah,
the best of SF
best
comedy
of
stuff.
SF.
Yeah, I mean, he's now bringing that. He found a formula that works, and he's now bringing it into other
Mm-hmm.
towns. And kudos to him,
Mm-hmm.
But I imagine There's a tremendous amount of work going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's why
it's work and motivation. You have to have motivation and enthusiasm to do it. And you and I, Joe, we always had an incredible amount of motivation to get on stage.
Yeah.
So we were not failures in that way. Always. I remember starting out, I got a call from Lord Corrette. Hey, you want to open for me for free 200 miles away? Yes. Answer is always yes. But when it came to that other stuff, we would quit because we didn't get it. We couldn't see the rainbow over the sunshine,
well,
whatever. We couldn't.
We didn't have good role models either, because they were
No,
they were stuck in an old system that none of us, because I mean we've talked a lot about this too, just like that the late 90s, right, when we were coming up, the whole comedy scene had imploded, and the internet was just starting to come, and the internet's what really revived it, right? But there were clubs that were closing. There were clubs that were asking comics to take a pay cut. There were clubs that just got stuck in this system of offering 10 tickets for free, as long as you have a 2-drink minimum. I mean, they really devalued the performance aspect of it, which was a shame. And so when we were coming up in that, the people above us, they weren't self-promoting and self-producing shows. And so when it did start, I remember just kind of looking at people like, well, good luck with that. Like it was sort of sad, but if you had a flyer for a show, you were considered, like hacky.
Yeah.
And, you know what
I
mean?
You were
like,
doing that because you couldn't get on.
You couldn't get on at the punchline, which wasn't paying
around
us.
Selling yourself.
Yeah.
Joe, right. There's a line you had said once before that I still quote very heavily to a lot of people. Because you just said something that reminded me of it. It sums it up well. You said comedy clubs is where comedy goes to die, because you serve a side of comedians with a 2-drink minimum.
Yeah.
And I know what you mean, and it kind of felt like that, where everybody in the crowd was in for free, and the club made money off of the 2-drink minimum. And then the comedians perform for free because they get bragging rights of having performed at a club. And that whole system had become very, I don't know what the word is, but it was not the most ideal situation for anybody.
I mean, I'm going to use this word, and I hope no one pushes back too hard on it. It was almost like a plantation system. You know what I mean? Like, we're there to do the labor, of putting on the show. And they were getting all the profit, and it's changed now. It really has. I mean, we are being paid.
I don't know. Right. Although I don't know if slaves would have gone out to the field because of Hutch, giving them the nod.
Oh yeah, but I mean, we were so hungry to get on that stage. We were so hungry, to get in the system. Yeah. And then once we were in the system, yeah, we were getting paid weeks, and we were, I mean, that was an amazing time to come up. So the producing end of things is always fascinating to me.
One thing here, right?
Yeah.
It's no different than the whole internship model in the corporate world.
Ah.
So a lot of times we think that this is unique to the comedy world, but it's not. This is how the entire world operates. There is people who have the ability, and then people who need the visibility, and then there's some exploitation that happens. We know we are getting exploited, but we do it so that we have enough under our belt, so we can rise up the ranks and then exploit the next ones in the line. And that's how money flows. You make money for the people.
I never thought of it like that.
And you make money from people below you in the money hierarchy, and it's no different everywhere. It's the same.
So what you're telling me, Samson, is you're like a mid-level pimp.
Yeah.
I'm an MLP.
Let's talk about the creative process too, because one of the things I really admire about you is every time I've seen you, you're always working on a bit. You're always, and it might be a bit that I've heard for years, but there's something new to it. There's some tweak. There's some change in the words. The order of things is a little bit different. What is your process like? Like, how much time do you spend writing? Do you record yourself and listen to yourself? What is your creative process like?
Oh, here we go. Here comes my downfall.
This is the downfall? Okay, wow.
No, because again, see, when I started, right, and these were the things that I would hear people advise me is record yourself, hear yourself, watch yourself. I think, one of the very few people in the early years who was actually able to buy a video camera, record my set, and put it on the web. And I had one of those first viral things way back in 2006-7 because I got so much media interviews out of that one clip. So
Wow.
I kind of know how this whole virality thing kicked off, but I never stayed on that path. I did one and then I kind of backed out. And I used to watch myself a lot. What that tells you is all the things you're doing wrong. So you take away all the shitty stuff that you do and you're actually left with the good stuff. So that was one thing I did a lot before. Unfortunately, I haven't done it since the pandemic even once. Like, even
Wow.
if I recorded myself, I haven't gone back and watched myself. So that has gone down for sure. Uh, the thing about tweaking things, right? Sometimes I feel it's this perfectionist syndrome that gets me into trouble because you have done a bit.
What's going on, buddy? What's going on,
I'm
Dad?
sorry, it's chaos. My wife's calling me, and I'm on the phone trying to chaos.
It's
Charlie,
life. It's
This is like a
life.
comedy show. There was a random heckle.
keep talking. Just keep talking. Keep going. Yeah,
So
sorry.
you haven't watched yourself on video since the pandemic, but
Not a
are
lot of it, right?
do
And
you sit down and write though? Like I mean I feel you don't
not as
sit.
much.
No,
Not as
really.
much.
Okay.
So that's the thing. And again, Joe, I will say this. I give you a lot of credit, and you've heard me do this on stage as well. Because there's a lot that I have followed your path, I've learned from you. And we did those one-on-one sessions in the early years that we did.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Because I
Yeah.
was always fascinated with callbacks and crowd work, both. And now the amount of people that tell me, like, the amount of callbacks I do, and you've seen this, like, my callback ratio is very high. And I've also become very comfortable with crowd work. Like, that's the thing that keeps me in the moment quite a bit. And there's a lot that I had learned from you, those little techniques. And I keep saying this to so many comics. One of the very basics of crowd work is if you ask a question and somebody answers, repeat that answer so that everybody catches up. And I still see so many comics just go into a joke. And I'm like, come on, man, go take a class from Joe. It's such a basic thing to do. So those kind of things that have helped
Do
me
you,
get better.
Samson? Do you know your exact callback ratio? I've never heard that term.
I don't know if I have a mathematical formula for it, but I will tell you this.
It's high.
I
Yeah.
released I released a 1 hour special in November, and I should actually go back and count the number of callbacks I've done. But I have this one routine, which is one of my favorite routines now, called "Being a Mother is Not the Hardest Job in the World." And Joe's heard me do that. I don't know how much you remember it, but the amount of callback and roller coasters up and down
I've
that the
seen that
routine
bit.
goes through,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
a
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of callbacks
Mm-hmm.
within that one routine, but I'm also fascinated because there's a callback I do at the very end of the show to my third joke, which happened in the first 7 minutes. And the crowd does the callback for me because they remember. And that's like, to me, the moment of like, aha, that's a crowd that came with me on the journey.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a
So,
cool way
Okay, so
to
here's my new challenge to you. Can you do a callback before the joke? Can you call something back that has not yet
Well,
been
that
mentioned?
Dan.
That
yes,
That's time
yes.
travel,
then
Dan.
I'll be
That's time
impressed.
travel.
But
You.
I do,
I think
I call that calling back to the previous comics, right? If you do
Well, yeah.
references to the
Yes.
previous comedian, it's
Yeah.
not your
okay.
joke, but you're able to
Right.
bring that in. And the crowds love that. This
They
is
love
where,
it.
Joe, right?
Oh
He
yeah.
and I have toured extensively together on the Jewish things. And he does his joke about how people are proud about things that has nothing to do with anything. Like, somebody like, I'm proud to be a Korean man. He's like, yeah, you were just born Korean. There's nothing to be proud about.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be amazing if you were born a turtle and through hard work and determination turned yourself into a Korean man. And it's a funny joke. But then I go up and I have this joke about people ask me like, were you born Jewish? And I go, no, I was born a turtle. And through hard work and determination, I made myself a Jewish man. I get such a huge laugh and a huge applause.
Yeah.
And Joe hates it because he's like, dude, it's my joke and you're getting a bigger laugh on my joke.
It's an interesting phenomenon because I like calling back the comics that had gone on before me too, and
Yes.
and it's pretty common for them to be
Yes.
pissed off because they feel like, hey, you're no one's ever said you're stealing the joke, but they're like, you're getting more mileage out of my joke. And I'm like, I'm just calling it back.
Do you remember my
The coffee?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was gold.
That was
That was the
gold. I
golden
mean,
spot in any industry showcase.
yeah. I mean, it yeah, and I think, I mean, look, I remember being on the road when I was younger, and headliners would call me back, and I remember this one. I didn't like this headliner, and I thought he was really
Hmm.
hacky, and he called back to something in my set, and it got a huge laugh, applause break, right? And I was just like, man, that's my joke,
Hmm.
and he's very sincerely said to me, it only works because the audience liked you. And I've
Yeah,
always thought
it's
like, oh,
true.
that's right. Like if the
Yeah.
audience didn't like me and they didn't remember it, it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? So now I tell that to comics. I mean, last night we had so much. I did this show at a winery, and the host was on stage, and 2 minutes into her set, the power goes out all over town. And this is an outdoor gig
Hmm.
with strung lights and a sound system. And now she's got to shout, and it was just, I mean, the whole thing was so hysterically bad. She handled it like a pro. And then, Carla Clay, she was going to be the next comedian up, and it's getting really dark. And Carla Clay is
Hmm.
like, if they don't get those lights on and they put me up there, it's like a hate crime because they won't be able to see her. They won't be able to see her. They got the power
Yeah.
on for the mic, but the lights are still out. And then the lights came back on, and she just made fun of them because it's rich, and you're like, you can't pay your bills. She was just killing with this. And then of course I had to go up and call back, what was going on. And I think when the stand up when an audience sees that many callbacks, I think they also realize like, oh, these three all know each other. They're fond of each other, and this moment is our moment. You know what I mean? Like it's this show can never happen this way again.
There's a
Hmm.
camaraderie that comes through when
Live
comics
theater.
banter off of each other.
Yeah.
And also, the audience feels like something happened in the moment because you're calling back to something that happened right now versus coming with jokes that you have written before. So, nothing beats that in the moment thing, which is why crowd work videos are so popular now. Anything that's crowd work, you're like, wow, 1 million views because people are like, oh, it happened in the moment. And you and I both know, I'm sure Dan knows, not every crowd work is absolutely in the moment. We have some formulaic setups and we can bring them up and it looks like we're doing it in the moment, but it's not. And I had somebody ask me this question 2 days ago during this fest. I was like, hey, I see you do this. Is that literally on the spot or have you done this before? And I'm like, what do you think? And he goes, you've done it before. I'm like, yes, I
Yeah.
have. But
Uh-huh.
it sounds like it's on the spot. But it also doesn't work with every audience. The audience has to be a certain way for me to say that and make it sound like it's actually spontaneous. So
Hmm.
there's some formulaicness to it, but the audience doesn't know, and a lot of it
Yeah.
is very genuinely connected to the content that just happened.
Yeah.
That can't be formulaic.
I think a little bit of canned
Have you
improv
guys
is good. It works. Yeah.
have you guys ever been now? There's one thing for someone to play off you or call back to you. Has anyone ever gone up after you and condescended and was
Yeah.
shitty to that I have a few of those. I'm not over it. Like really,
Oh,
you can be
do tell. Do tell.
there are some okay, this is I'm not gonna name the guy's name, but I have to say, look, I dislike him with a passion, with just a fucking passion. Before this even happened. He's one of these guys that has a loud laugh at his own jokes. It's a formula I've never joke. What are you laughing at? Who you know what I'm saying?
I love it when you get angry. So what
These
what
oh
what did he say?
all
What did he
right.
say? He
I
goes up
was
after you.
back in the day, I was talking about being bisexual. It was tricky. It didn't always work. I just had some rough moments on stage. So I was opening um I had a good gig. This is as much as I'll lead into who this was. I won't say Joe, you might know. George Lopez used to request me, which was cool. So I would open for him, doing my bisexual stuff, just wasn't hitting. And he goes up, this meeting goes up after me, and he's like, let's give a hand for Dan. He's, he was saying things like, I forgot what he said at first. Then he started doing his set, and he got a few rough spots, and he goes, would you guys, hey, how about, would you rather I bring Dan back up and talk about his pain? Reducing me to some kind of whatever you would call it.
I would think at that point the crowd would realize how weak a comic that person is.
Yeah. If he's calling back to
it was
you,
really, yeah,
that's disparaging. Still, but it hurts.
He was making fun of me. He was making fun of me, not in a playful way.
Yeah.
And then after, you know what I mean? He was reducing me to kind of a touchy-feely, weak. At that point, today you might say woke. You know what I mean? As if I wasn't funny first. I was some overly disclosing queer person, which I have an ego about that. I always felt like I'm in it for the jokes.
Yeah.
But the point is that I would never do that to a comedian, even if it worked.
Yeah, I mean, I think
even if you could.
But that's different than calling back in a fun way. That's sort of a mean-spirited, like, hey, I'm not doing well. Let me put the focus back on that guy. You know what I mean? Like I've seen comics do that, and the audience doesn't like it. They don't like it. They're like, dude, just do your stuff. Don't don't pull some. I mean,
don't blame Biden. Just do it. Yeah. Let's. Is anyone here actually funny?
Yeah.
Or
amen.
You're bringing back the. Yeah.
If there's one thing we all know, there's a lot of people who should not be doing comedy, but unfortunately, it's a free world.
Yeah. Samson, you touched on you touched on being Jewish as well, and I think it's such a unique piece of real estate to stand on, because nobody looks at you and thinks, "Oh, this guy is Jewish," and then trying to explain to the audience this Indian Jewish heritage. I always felt like, in a way, I really felt jealous, because I'm like, it's really a unique place to come from, right? But
that is the biggest double threat I've ever heard. Indian and Jewish. I'm not kidding, because that's I'm Jewish. We used to be we were once the immigrants that came in and became doctors and lawyers, and then I was going to say, I didn't know you were Jewish. I was going to say, you're the new us. You're both, baby.
I am.
And go ahead. I want to get to parental expectations, but we'll get to that.
Oh, sorry. I thought, I think we had some connection.
A glitch.
All right.
Probably,
Yeah.
Zaya used to have this joke about, like, Jews and Indians are the top 1% and 2%, and then I got the top 2% covered. So what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
We have the.
I mean, you can circumcise a baby and do IT. It's amazing. See how I just boiled it down to the most hacky and derivative, but you're not. I mean, that's the thing I mean, you're actually taking the audience somewhere where they're not expecting with it.
One of the first times I went up at the Punch, there was a Jewish comic from San Francisco. Since we are not naming names, we will keep it anonymous.
We can name names.
Who went like, oh, you're Indian and Jewish, so you can't have kosher or beef. And I was like, well, both of those are wrong jokes, because as a Jew, you are supposed to have kosher. And it's not that Indians don't have beef, it's Hindus don't have beef. I mean, I'm a Jewish person, so obviously not a Hindu. So, like, your entire joke was wrong. But he felt so confident about, like, I got this one-liner for you. So, I think the other difference also is I didn't grow up in America, so I did not know the stereotypes associated with both Indians and Jews.
Wow.
So when I
a lot to learn
when you got here. What?
Yeah.
All of these stereotypes exist that I don't know about. And then some I lead into a little bit. Like one of the newest things I'm talking about is how people ask me, how Jewish are you?
Hmm.
And I'm like, every Shabbat, I go and I do stand-up comedy in America every Friday, Saturday. What's more Jewish than that? And it's not a big haha one, but they kind of get like the Jews in America as a stereotype,
Yeah.
right? So there's some that helps some, because I do get into like some serious, edgy, like very uncomfortable stuff that I talk about, and then the relief comes with a very simple, stereotypical, hacky joke once in a while. So the whole adoption thing that I was talking about for the longest time, my younger kid is adopted, and in that I have a joke about how it's going to be the first white kid to win a spelling bee in America. Another hacky kind of a joke, but it got a big laugh because it came after the relief of everything I'm talking about adoption, which makes you very uncomfortable.
When you're in Bakersfield, you got to do what you got to do. We all need. You got to have something in your pocket.
This, Dan, I would say this, right?
Yeah.
One of the things that I've been talking about is how there's a little bit of like, from San Francisco, we always make fun of Modesto, and then when I went to Modesto the first time, I was so worried, and the show was just fine. And then I've heard a lot of jokes about Mormons in Utah, and I went there, and the show was fine. And I've gone to all these places where the shows have been okay. And then I've now said, like, if you think your jokes don't work in certain places, write better jokes. That city is fine. You are the problem sometimes. So anyway, I always try to find like the contrarian view. I'm a very contrarian person by nature. So, but
tell me about your. Did you get a bar mitzvah?
I did.
Right. Here in this country?
No. I was in Mumbai for 24 years. I grew up in Mumbai, pretty much did all my schooling, college, worked there for 3 years. So a lot of my Jewishness was in India. Since I've been in America, literally the only Jewish thing I do is stand up.
Okay.
And I produce
very
shows.
Jewish.
And
wow. All right. And what about both Indians and Jews have a bit of a tradition of parental expectations and maybe some parental understanding of what success is, and it's often not.
Stand-up comedy is
Jews
not
have
in
a
the
history.
Yeah.
Exactly. So how has that been for you?
So I was working in tech for 25 plus years. I came from Mumbai to the Silicon Valley, and I have this in my bio, thereby fulfilling my parents' dreams. So I achieved what they wanted me to achieve. Came here, did what I had to do, and then got into stand-up. And in the beginning, because I mentioned when I was growing up, there was no stand-up comedy in India. So for me to explain to my parents what stand-up comedy meant was also tricky, right? But they would listen, they would try to understand until they actually came here and saw me perform live. And then I had also gone back to India and done some shows that they saw me live. And they're like, oh, this is nice. You go and you make people laugh and you say good things and everybody's happy. That's good. As long as you're making money and being a good boy, you're good.
Oh, that's nice. That's good to hear.
Also, the part that I gave away the profanity, vulgarity angle of it, I decided to go clean. That a decision I had to make within like the first year or two. That helped. Because I'm sure if I did the raunchy stuff, my parents wouldn't be too happy.
Okay, so your parents were a positive guiding force in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they were fine. The first
even
time
if they didn't mean to be.
No, but I will tell you, the first time I quit tech and pursued stand-up full-time for about 2 years, my dad was definitely not happy. He's like, why can't you do both? Why do you have to quit? Because you aren't making as much money in stand-up as you're making it in tech. And I'm like, fair, but I will never know unless I try. So we have had our disagreements. But generally speaking, they've been okay. I mean, they also trust my judgment to a point where this is the thing I've told a lot of my kids and their parents and parents who have kids. If you distrust your kids, you're actually distrusting your own ability to raise your child.
Boom. Take that, Dan.
Amen. Hey, no, I like that. I was also going to, so right now, what's your bread and butter? Are you part-time tech, full-time producing? Like, how do you make your living?
Yeah, I quit tech a second time in April of 2025, and I've been doing stand-up full-time now and trying to make it work. Last time I lasted 2 years, and I'm at a year and a half now, so let's see how long I lasted this time. but I'm hoping to take it longer. And the Desi Comedy Fest, we actually went national this year. So previously we had done like
Mm-hmm.
sporadic shows here and there, but this year we've done East Coast in March. We did New York, DC, Boston, Jersey,
Mm-hmm.
Midwest in May.
You see, Joe, I don't mean to interrupt. See, Joe, we didn't have these mentors.
No, we didn't. Yeah, I mean,
This is smart. This is what did we have?
No, no, slow down, Dad. We
Johnny
lost,
fucking Steele running his fucking mouth.
wow.
but
Okay,
I
we're
love
naming
you,
names.
Johnny.
Wow.
But what? You're
no,
gonna
No, I
go
hear
to
you.
smell, eh?
Yeah, I hear you.
the
They
thing
don't do
is,
shit.
we did
Just
these shows,
book
but
it.
we lost money too, right? So it's not
Nothing.
all it's all
Sorry.
sunshine. So we're trying to expand. So the goal now is
Pissed. I'm fucking pissed. I'm bitter. I'm just pissed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
Why is it? I will never forget the generation
let,
directly after us
just let him go, Samson. Let
knew
him go.
we were full of shit. You know what I mean? I'll never. I've told this story before. You know, Kevin Avery, great guy. He's now writing and sweetest. Some people change a bit when they have a bit of success. Um, just the same dude always picks up the phone. I remember standing in the luggage store, and he was, I was up here and he was down here, and and he had hosted his first punchline. It was a big deal. You host the showcase, one of many big deals that were for free. And I said, hey, I heard you host it. How did it go? And he looked at me and goes, great. You know what I mean? Like, are you following me?
No, what's that? Yeah, it went great. That's the payoff to the story. What do you mean? Yeah, that's what you want. You want it to be great. What's the point here, Dan?
Great. The point is, it was great, as in, I don't need your mentor. It went fucking great. That's how it went.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Went,
Yeah.
Not like, went pretty good. I'm feeling good about it. Great. Any other questions, old man? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe
look, I think about the past,
just,
and I
in
think
other
about
words,
yeah.
he
Go ahead.
didn't need any direction of how to get a spot at the luggage store from me. He
Yeah,
was like, I'm good.
I think the pendulum,
As he was.
the pendulum swings, right? And I find that there's a lot of new comics, younger comics, they have access to all the technology and tools to promote, to get out there, to build a following, to do all that. But the thing that they're craving, the mentorship that they're craving, is really around the artistic part. Like, they know they need content, but they also know that they don't have enough quality content, right? So the mentorship now is, hey, how do I write? How do I create better quality material? How do I take what I think is funny and actually put that into a joke? How do I find my voice and then hone it and focus it? And that's not to say that there's any, because again, like recently I worked with a couple of younger new comics, and one of the comics was saying to me, like, yeah, I heard that the booker just said that the quality is really, really low right now with new people. And like, maybe reframe that. It's not that the quality is low, it's that right now a lot of the people that have been here for a long time, they've moved. Like every 5 to 7 years, people move they go to LA, they go to New York, or they built a following, they're on the road. This is your time. Now it's time to step up and fill that vacuum. But I think there is an awareness that, oh yeah, I need to figure out how to write, how to perform, how to actually generate better quality content, because they know about TikTok. They grew up with it. They are, what is it? Digital natives, right? That's the term. They've been living with this technology their whole lives. They know how to use it, but they're also very savvy in the awareness that, hey, maybe I'm going to wait until I really have something to say, until I'm really able to put something out there. Yeah, so that's fascinating to me that it's swung that way. But yeah, Dan, you're right. Like the guys that were around San Francisco that were our mentors that we were listening to, they were living in an empire that had
Yeah.
crumbled.
And it crumbled. So no one knew what to do. And it was a time of stagnation, and then it took off in a different
And
direction.
then
And many people, in our generation have done fine.
yeah, I mean, I think about this. I think MySpace was in 2003, YouTube was 2005, and the iPhone was 2007. Right. And for you and I, Dan, like our golden era was between like 1998 and 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, and that was like right before all that technology was available to us. Like we were just like MySpace. What is this? You know? And then Dane Cook figured out that MySpace was this amazing vehicle to promote. And then everybody was like, "Oh, we got to do that." You know? So we can't be too hard on ourselves, buddy.
I'm not hard. I'm happy. I'm just reflecting. I'm happy.
10 minutes ago, you're like, I'm still pissed about this.
Yeah. And I'm just venting. Okay, we gotta wrap up.
Okay,
our final question, Samson. So something we ask everyone. You're a 20-year veteran of comedy. You started in the Bay Area. You boldly looked your family in the eye and said, I'm going in a different direction. I'm going in a creative direction. You you were resilient through producing shows that are now popular and emerging. You have a 5 to 7 night a week club that you run in Oakland. You're very funny. You have a high callback ratio, which is impressive. So our question to you here at the Splain is, do you feel like a success?
Yes and no. And I say this because I've actually asked this question to myself a bunch of times. And if I go back to the 24-year-old me who came to America, and I told that 24-year-old that someday you'll be in America telling jokes every weekend and making people laugh and making a living out of it, would you take that life? That was my dream, right? Like coming to America, doing what you want to do. I knew I was doing tech, but everybody in America does something else because everybody's so entrepreneurial. So I'm doing tech and I'm doing something else. And that else has now become the thing and I'm able to live off of it. Absolutely. That to me is success. But am I going to rest on my laurels and say, okay, I'm done? No, there is way more to achieve. Am I as successful as I think I should have been, could have been, would have been? No. There's a lot more to achieve, right? How do I go back to getting 13,000 people through my Oakland shows every year? How do we go back into the 500-600 seaters instead of the 200 seaters at the Desi Comedy Fest? How can I launch my solo show and actually sell it out the way I used to before? Like one email back in the days, Roo City Feathers specifically, right, Joe? 150 seats. One email, Wednesday night show, sold out. I knew it was selling out every single time. Now I'm like texting people like, hey, please come to my show, please come to like one-on-one. I'm texting people one-on-one. And I barely get like 116 or 200 seater for my recording. And that was the one show that actually did well. I lost a lot of money on a lot of other things that I've been doing. So am I successful? It's a yes and a no answer. I don't know if I'm not unsuccessful, but I'm not successful enough, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Well,
that's honest. That's real. I think most of the talented people that we've asked that question to, it's a resounding no. I don't feel like success because you're always hungry. You're always moving forward. You know. So
I mean, go ask Elon Musk if he feels he's a success, and he's.
Let's not bring him into this. Oh, oh my God.
Right, like he's constantly doing new things. Like he did Tesla, he's doing the boring tunnel, he's doing space shuttle, he's doing this. He's constantly doing something. Because as much as we dislike whatever like or dislike, I'm ambivalent to it. But he's never gonna stop doing things because in his mind he has a lot more to do, and we all do. I'm saying
take
even
over
at
the
that level,
planet.
Yeah, even at that level, he wants to go to Mars and build a colony there. Maybe that's his. And then once he does that, he's like, oh, this is not enough. I gotta get to Jupiter now. Who knows?
I don't know that I would live in a Elon Musk built Mars colony for a variety of reasons. But anyway, we're out of time.
Point is,
That's
there's
a whole
always
other
new things
subject.
to conquer.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the experiment put Jew and Indian together, you get a very successful, motivated, forward-moving, funny individual.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, please like and subscribe. Samson,
like and subscribe to the Splain.
What's your website? What's your socials?
Just for me.
The website is called mahatmamoses.com.
You know.
And
Dan, we're out of time, buddy.
There I am.
What?
Using
Can you
my...
just give me a like, give me a break. Sorry,
ladies and gentlemen, yeah, please help Dan out and
give me how about a little something?
Little something. Like and subscribe. Give Dan a like. We'll be back next week. Cheers, everyone.
Thanks, Joe.
Peace out.
Dan. Good chatting.